northern Wyoming County, pushing right into Livingston County. It's within this polygon where we are picking up some of that radar signature, where we could see some rotation. As I put that radar back on there for you, what we try to look for is that what we call an inflow notch right here. So this is the potential area where we could be looking at what we call that mesocyclone, where we're seeing that spin up in the atmosphere that could potentially be dropping a tornado. I also have meteorologist Jen Stenosis that's here, and she's also tracking this as well. What's some of the latest information, Jen?
Yeah, we're continuing to monitor this. And again, that radar indicated some rotation, and some of these communities are being impacted as this heads to the east, Craigs and York and Belua and Caledonia. So we are looking this, and also something to note too, we were seeing even some reports of $half size hail with some of these severe storms as they're moving through our area. So not only damaging winds and this possible tornado as well, but large hail and damaging winds of 60 miles per hour. So these are dangerous storms that are moving through right now, as you can see, continuing that tornado warning for that northeastern corner of Wyoming County and also the southeastern corner of Genesee County until 4:15 p.m.
Yeah, these storms luckily are on the move, even more so than, say, what we were dealing with last week. So again, these storms are racing off to the north and east here at a pretty good clip. We kind of widen things back out, and around Buffalo, we still have a couple of little scattered thundery downpours that we are currently picking up. But look at all this vivid lightning that we see just off to our east. So boy, these storms certainly packing a punch. And again, there's that tornado warning polygon right here as we dive in even closer. And again, this is areas of southern Genesee County, northern Wyoming County, pushing into central Livingston County. And as I put that radar back on there for you, again, a big hail signature is what we continue to pick up right along the 19 corridor here that pushes through portions of eastern Genesee County and then even pushing into portions of Wyoming County. But this would be the general area now, kind of exiting Wyoming County, pushing more into Livingston County, where we are picking up that radar signature of what we call a mesocyclone, where at least in the upper levels of the atmosphere, we do have some rotation. That is what's prompted this tornado warning. But again, it does continue to push on off to the east at a pretty good clip at about 35 miles per hour. So conditions, if you are in portions of especially Genesee County, conditions will improve here as we go through the coming minutes, the next 15, 20 or so minutes. Now, as we travel further south into Wyoming County, still dealing with some pretty nasty weather, stretching anywhere from really areas around Perry towards Silver Lake, stretching back further south and westward towards Pike, even towards Arcade, dealing with those thundery downpours. Very heavy rain is what we're also seeing out of this, with a lot of rain very quickly, a lot of ponding on the roadway. So you don't want to get caught out in this kind of weather, even where we don't have severe warnings in place. You do not want to get caught out in these kind of downpours. We've already had reports of, some very heavy rain, certainly the kind of rain that makes it extremely difficult to travel. And again, as we put this tracker on there for you, and really here we are right at about 4 o'clock. And again, this line continues to race on off to the east here at a pretty good clip. And that's why things are quieting down in and around the Buffalo metro. Another little batch that we're also keeping an eye for, if you are watching, especially into areas of Potter County, we do have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings down into areas of northern Pennsylvania. And of course, we're going to be tracking some of that severe weather as we go through the next half hour. If you are watching, especially south of Cottersport, we'll be watching that line. And it's a quick moving line of showers and storms that's also racing through portions of northern PA. But as we do kind of go back through the radar here, as I want to dive right back to where we do have that tornado warning in place. And again, here's the latest polygon. If it does update, which I believe it will do so here over the next little bit, but this is where within this polygon, again, that does include Pavilion stretching towards York. Again, that Route 20 stretching towards Avon. That's where we do have that tornado warning in place, pushing into areas of northern Livingston County, out of now Genesee County, although we're still getting rocked here with some very heavy rain stretching from Batavia down towards Pavilion. But it's this part of the storm right here where if there is a spin up of a weak tornado, this is about where we would see, just from looking at the radar signature here, you can pretty much make out where we do have what we call that MCS, that mesocyclone, where the atmosphere is twisting, it's spinning, and if that does drop to the surface, that's ultimately what turns into a tornado. But at the very least, the atmosphere definitely showing signs of some rotation, whether it's through radar or whatever it may be. So certainly continue to take that storm seriously. And again, as we continue to widen out, as we're tracking this tornado warn cell, and when we're in a tornado warning, again, we're bringing you wall-to-wall coverage. Whether it's Wyoming County, again, getting rocked with some very heavy rain, and then pushing into Cattaraugus County, stretching down towards Ellicottville. I mean, look at some of the heavy rain. We don't have a severe warning with this, but boy, it is coming down in buckets. You step outside today, you felt that humidity. There's so much moisture in the air, and this line is really wringing out that moisture, and that's why we have seen the heaviest of rain. For Buffalo, again, we're in the clear now. We do not anticipate any severe weather here as we head into this evening. We do have a couple of garden variety showers, even a couple isolated downpours still possible here for the next hour or two. But any heavy or severe weather does continue to shift off to our east. And of course, we do still have that tornado warning in place, again, especially for portions of southern Genesee County. This is it right here. This is the tornado warning, southern Genesee County, northern Wyoming County, pushing into Livingston County. This is why we had a weather impact alert today, because of this potential for another round of strong to severe storms. And once again, the atmosphere just ripe enough where the ingredients and the conditions are just right enough where we can get a spin up potentially of a small tornado. So again, tornado warning still in place. You can see the National Weather Service. The reason why this is blinking right now, the National Weather Service coming at you wall to wall here with live coverage is providing an update right at the moment. And so that's why we do have the graphic here kind of flashing for you. So again, we have new information that's going to be coming out here momentarily. It looks as though most of that was around the severe thunderstorm warning that's associated with this line. And it's a fairly robust line of showers and storms that stretches pretty much all the way from the Lake Ontario shore, again, now pushing into the Genesee Valley and then back into many areas of western New York, where, again, even where we don't have a warning in place, we're still getting rocked with thundery downpours across pretty much all of Wyoming County, pushing right into central Cattaraugus County. So again, we still have that tornado warning in place. There's the polygon right there. We still have a severe thunderstorm warning in place. That is still in place through about 4:15. So again, here's the tornado warning. As far as location, this is extreme southeastern Genesee County, northeastern Wyoming County, and this is Livingston County, Rochester, just to the north there. So kind of give you a geographical representation of where we do have this tornado warning in place. And again, look at the radar. It does look as though a lot of the heavier weather where the potential for that tornado is now beginning to shift to our east, outside of our viewing area. So definitely some good news there. Now keep in mind, again, we're still getting rocked with a lot of very heavy rain, pretty much anywhere from along the 90 corridor here in Genesee County, south, Route 20 here. Again, torrential, not the kind of rain you want to get caught out traveling. A lot of ponding on the roadways. The rain just coming down so hard and fast, it doesn't have anywhere to go, so it tends to fill up a lot of the drains and things like that. So the water does need to go somewhere, and that's why we are picking up some poor drainage with the kind of rain that we are seeing out of some of this activity. And again, extending even into areas of Cattaraugus County, anywhere from Arcade right towards Ellicottville. You can see this batch. Again, no warnings with this, but certainly picking up some heavier rain, some frequent cloud to ground lightning. And as we kind of expand back to where we do have that tornado warning in place, there's the polygon. Again, now east of Buffalo. Buffalo, we had this line blow through, even had some reports of a couple of trees getting uprooted. Well, that line, as it did make its way further to the east, that's where it kind of blew up and became even more explosive. It strengthened. And so that line will continue to race to the east. We do still have, and you can see whether it's in around Amherst, Clarence, we still have some pockets of heavy rain. We're not done with the rain quite yet. Out of this, not seeing any thunder or lightning, but certainly some pockets of some heavier rain. Look at that little cell that's getting ready to move into downtown Buffalo. Now, once that clears, there's really not much upstream, if you will. So I do think as we get further into this evening, things will quiet down. But again, there it is, just like that. We do have an update on the tornado warning as it is officially now moved out of our viewing area, now into portions of northern Livingston County is where we now have the updated warning box. So if you are in, so that's definitely some good news if you're watching, say, in and around Pavilion, as that warning polygon box has now shifted outside of Genesee County. So definitely some good news there. But as we do put the radar back on there, you can see still dealing with some torrential rain. Boy, that rain is coming down in buckets, but the heavier weather now shifting more into the Genesee Valley, the 390 corridor, again, outside of much of our viewing area. But as I do continue to widen out, we are still dealing with some very heavy rain across pretty much all of Wyoming County. Again, Warsaw stretching over towards Perry. You're going to continue to get rocked here with not only heavy rain, frequent cloud to ground lightning, and the potential still at least for some decent damaging wind gusts. And as we look further to the south and west, again, still dealing with some very heavy rain, some thunder and lightning across portions of Cattaraugus County. And as I put that tracker on there for you, again, it's going to continue to make its way to the east. You can see arriving in Rochester around 4:20 and then points further to the east outside of western New York as we get further into this half hour. Again, we're going to continue to watch some of this activity down towards Potter County, may just clip the southern half of Potter County. So if you are located there, but again, we did just have a tornado warning in place that was in place for portions of southern Genesee County, northern Wyoming County, and it looks as though we did just have within the last couple of minutes another update. You can kind of see that green polygon where also having some flooding issues because of the heavy rain that I have been talking about. But again, luckily, as we look upstream, we don't have much activity, so I do think things will begin to quiet down. But boy, Jen, here we are again going over another severe afternoon in this weather impact alert.
We've been watching it for the last several hours. We saw the line of severe storms move across our area, impacting most of western New York, Erie, and also into the southern tier. And now we're continuing to see that line continuing to shift eastward, as you can see. So that tornado warning now has expired for portions of Genesee and Wyoming counties. It continues for areas just to the east of us, out of our viewing area. But as you can see, we have flash flood warnings now in effect for portions of Erie County, highlighted in green here, and also Genesee and Wyoming counties from all of this heavy rain. I mean, not only are we dealing with these damaging winds, and we have some storm reports I'll show you, but also hail reports and torrential downpours, reducing in some, dealing with some flooding in some of these spots. So as you can see, it has cleared downtown Buffalo and much of Erie County. We continue to track still the very heavy rain moving through portions of Genesee and Wyoming counties, continue to shift eastward at about 35 miles per hour. Pavilion still getting hit with the very heavy rain, but at least that severe storm has, at least the worst of it, exited that county. But we still continue to have that severe thunderstorm warning for portions that you can see that northeastern corner of Genesee and also that northeastern corner of Wyoming County. That is for damaging wind gusts of 70 miles per hour still associated with this severe thunderstorm. So still watching for damaging winds out of that, and also torrential flooding rains, as you can see. And you can see also these storm reports popping up from those severe storms we saw moved through over the last couple hours. $half size hail and also nickel to quarter size hail in portions of northern Erie County, to include North Buffalo and Kenmore. So these storms do have a history of producing large hail and also damaging winds. And now we have the torrential downpours. So we have that severe thunderstorm warning, as you can see, highlighted in the orange here, and the green showing that flash flood warning continuing. So we're seeing several hazards from still this active weather moving through. Flash flood warning, as you can see, goes until 8:15 p.m. this evening for that portion of east central Erie County, and also for a good portion, a decent size portion of Genesee and into northern Wyoming County. Zooming in here, some of these damage reports we've been getting in just recently here. We're getting some of these reports in from damaging winds, trees down on Wendy Road in Mill Grove in Erie County, also in Alden, numerous trees down in Alden, and one fell on a house on Broadway. We're getting reports coming in, National Weather Service, just over the last half an hour, and these are now coming in, continuing, as we are still dealing with some of these severe storms rolling through. And this line, as you can see, kind of extends down to portions of the southern tier, even some strong storms moving through Cattaraugus County right now. So severe thunderstorm watch does continue for all of western New York and northern Pennsylvania. That continues until 7 p.m. So still conditions favorable for still seeing some of these isolated severe storms moving through. The main threats, those damaging winds and even some large damaging hail potentially. And as we saw, some radar indicated rotation with that storm that moved through that just exited Genesee and Wyoming counties. So we're going to continue to track conditions closely and monitor this, as we still could be dealing with some of this active weather, severe storms, some strong storms, at least over the next couple hours through the 7 p.m. hour. So this is something that we're continuing to look at as we are continuing to track, as we have that weather impact alert for a portion of our area. And I think Dan is advancing my graphics. You're still on mine, but you can see future look continues to show that line continue to move through of the strong to severe storms. So we're still continuing to monitor the conditions through about 7 p.m. as we could be dealing with still, Dan, those damaging winds and also large hail as we're seeing out of some of these storms already.
Yeah, you know, that nickel and quarter size hail, that is another bit of a rarity here in western New York, but certainly tracking these storms that have the potential to produce that hail along with those damaging straight line winds and, boy, a lot of very heavy rain. And we were getting reports, you know, of that rain coming down so quickly that it was pretty much impossible to drive through. So again, a lot of heavy rain and once again, Lauren, here we are again talking about an active weather afternoon and a weather impact alert.
Yeah, we've been following it all day for you. We are going to take a break from weather and toss things over to Lance Mellon, though, because these weather conditions can create some issues on the roads, we know, of course, so we want to get the latest on traffic. Hey, Lance.
Hey, thanks a lot, Lauren. Yeah, a day like this with pouring rain and gusty winds, certainly keep an eye out for debris in the road, tree limbs, garbage cans, whatever it may be. Certainly use a little extra caution on your way out. We don't have any official road closures as of now, which is always good news, but we do have possibly a weather-related accident here on the 190 north towards the right side of your screen. They're on the right shoulder right before the Peace Bridge, but that is backing up those northbound lanes to almost Church Street as we take a look right here near Niagara Street on the right side. Certainly a slow go, leaving downtown Buffalo as well. We have a slowdown in West Seneca on the 400 north. We have a lane closure right near Union Road. The left lane is closed, so drivers are backed up about 1.5 miles leading to that road closure as folks are having to merge and move over. But yeah, just a lot of pouring rain and a lot of volume on the 90 in both directions between the 290 and Walton Avenue. But we'll certainly keep an eye on the roads as the day continues. That's a look at traffic. Most Buffalo will return right after this.
Welcome back. You are watching team coverage on Most Buffalo of a weather impact alert, and meteorologist Dan Russell. Things have been changing very quickly this whole afternoon.
Yeah, Lauren, this line, it is on the move. Conditions are deteriorating very quick where this line is hitting, but we're also seeing conditions improve. And right now, a lot of improvement. Of course, if you've been watching here over the last hour and a half, we've been covering, in fact, even more than that, going through all afternoon. We've been bringing you live coverage of severe thunderstorm warnings. Here's some live images along what looks like to be the 90 right there. Again, showing you a lot of heavy rain, tropical downpours within these storms. So certainly the kind of weather, whether it's wind, thunder, lightning, the kind of weather you just do not want to get caught out in. And again, a lot of the heaviest of weather where we did have that tornado warning, that cell has since exited. And even good news for that particular cell, we've actually dropped the tornado warning with it, as it's not quite as showing a robust signature with some of that spin in the atmosphere. But look at this, whether it's Batavia, stretching down towards Attica, over towards Pavilion, back over towards Wales. This is where we now have a flash flood warning in place. Again, we've seen so much rain, some radar observations of over 2 inches of rain in a very short period of time. Of course, all that water has to go somewhere. Where it ends up is in your poor drainage areas. It's on your roads, and ultimately does result in flash flooding. Now, as that heavier weather does continue to push on off to the east, we will see conditions improve even when it comes to that as we go through the next hour or so. But again, here's the latest radar showing you the heavier weather where we do still have a severe thunderstorm warning now pushing through portions of Monroe County, Livingston County, again, outside of our viewing area. This line, though, still producing a lot of heavy rain right over Silver Lake, Perry, stretching down towards Castile, Pike, and then back over towards Arcade. No warnings out of this, but boy, the weather certainly is a rough go of it as you get just to the east of Ellicottville. Again, some very heavy rain here, and even this has a little bit of a signature. You can see that little curvature right there. That tells me at least that line of shower storms certainly has the potential for some decent gusts. Buffalo right now, especially from downtown Buffalo, stretching into South Buffalo, right along the outer harbor there, dealing with another one of those heavier downpours. Also Niagara Falls, stretching up towards Niagara-on-the-Lake, and Youngstown, still dealing with some pretty active weather. But as I do widen out, and what I put here on there is not a storm tracker, it's a rain ender tracker on there for you. So as we put this line, ultimately, this is when I expect conditions to clear out and improve. So if you do have any evening plans, so for Ellicottville, we're getting crushed right now and have been around 450. So as we get further into this hour, in about a half hour, I think ultimately we'll quiet things down. Batavia by 5:10, and then eventually all this pushes more towards Rochester and towards the Finger Lakes as we get further into this evening. But you can see how quickly all that activity, again, racing on off to our east. Notice really not a whole lot upstream. So again, as we do also put Future Look on here for you, doing a great job of picking up that line of showers and storms, but also how quickly it races on off to our east. So here we are by 7 o'clock, and outside maybe a leftover spotty shower, especially across some of the north towns. This evening, really not all that bad. Now, it is going to be another sticky, uncomfortable night. Most spots won't even fall out of the 70s. That's where we'll start out tomorrow. Then during the day tomorrow, we'll have a chance for a couple of showers during the morning, and through about midday, there might be one more chance for a quick little passing storm there. But again, as we get to tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, I think we're looking pretty good. And boy, by the time we get to the second half of this week, things are looking a whole lot nicer. So overall, things will continue to quiet down heading into tonight, but it is going to be another sticky night. Lows only around 70. Then for tomorrow, still the chance for another passing shower, maybe even a rumble of thunder through about midday. But even that activity will clear out later tomorrow. And again, as we head towards Wednesday, conditions continue to improve. Wednesday is going to be the day where this oppressive humidity, it gets swept out of here, and boy, ultimately resulting in some pretty nice weather here as we head towards the second half of the week, and then we'll try to continue it even into next weekend. That is your very active weather forecast, at least for the rest of this evening. We do have more Most Buffalo coming up right after the break.